Tell it, Mark.
I'll tell you later. Anybody coming back today?
Hopefully we got a few guys coming back today, yeah. No, depending on how pregame goes, expecting Kelly, Lindy, and Jeremy to be back today.
What were the last hurdles that they had to clear to make it back, presuming they cleared them tonight?
I think there's just a plan set for each guy. I don't think there was a consistent hurdle. It's just, are those guys ready to go? They've been out different times with different things, but we've been very methodical, as you all know, and continue to ask and do your job. But we want to make sure that these guys are ready to go, and we want to make sure that the other circumstances around the team or other people's health wasn't going to change that. And so I think we felt really good about being very exhaustive in the process and trusting the medical team, and those guys will be ready to go.
Any firmer timeline on Dylan? Any clarity on that?
I don't know the details other than we probably can knock wood a little bit.
Mitch, when did you get word about the election results last night, and what's your reaction to it?
Yeah, yesterday evening. Not sure exactly what time, but just really excited for the city of San Antonio and for our organization. I think you see it across the league. Los Angeles is a great example of that. It's more than just the basketball. The surrounding areas and the venues and the restaurants, the music, all the things that are potentially opportunities to grow with the team and the team to grow with, and just something that's really exciting for the team to be a part of in downtown San Antonio.
Mitch, when Vic struggles by his standards the way he did in the game at Phoenix, how is he in the days after that? Does he ask a lot of questions? Does he react any differently than usual?
He's so methodical in his reactions to everything. I would just say, knowing how competitive he is, I think he's ready for a game. We don't have too many 2 days off like we've had recently. So sometimes you have a game like that, you can get a game pretty quick. And so, I think he's ready for the tip ball to be thrown tonight and get after it.
You coach a transcendent player, obviously, but tonight you're coaching against a transcendent player as well. And wondering if there's anything you think that players of that caliber, players who are able to reach those heights, have in common.
Yeah, probably just a tremendous amount of talent, obviously, and then a tremendous amount of work ethic to continue to unlock different parts of their game and be the unguardable forces that they are.
Hey, Mitch, when it comes to the offense that you are facing tonight, like, they're really good in the paint outside the restricted area. Like, normally you want to protect the rim. How do you protect the rim, but also just protect that area out in the paint, but outside that restricted area as well?
Yeah, I think you just have to continue to be consistent in terms of what's your identity and game plan, because they're going to score points. So we're not holding them to 82, and so they are going to score points, and hopefully we can have a little bit of a say-so of the type of baskets that we give up and limit the undisciplined points that we give up, whether that's off our turnovers or silly fouls or game plan execution breakdowns.
Hey coach, right here. So you start coaching this team like last year. Now it's a new season coming in. How comfortable are you in right now in the league, and also on your coaching experience right now?
How comfortable am I? I think the difference is the preparation that I was allowed to utilize for the 5.5 months from the end of last season to the start of this season, with having the advantage of having 77 games of experience of actually coaching the team in games. So it's a very unique kind of journey to get here, obviously. And I think there's experience with that. I don't know, comfortable. I'm always pretty insecure and worried about what's happening next. But I think the experience helps and the preparation for sure.
something that Steph had said after the Phoenix game was they kind of took it as a wake-up call, first loss of the season. What have you seen from them in these past couple of days as they're responding to that early adversity?
What we want to see. I think we'll be ready to go tonight. We played a bad game. Every team does. I think we addressed what we need to address and moved on. I think we're prepared and ready for tonight.
Mitch, with how Wemby takes his game to another level every season, what parts of his growth impresses you the most?
I think he is as clear and as at peace with any young individual I've ever been around in terms of just who he is and who he wants to be. There's so much noise, opinion, excitement, attention, visibility that goes to every single thing that he does. And, you know, I don't want to speak for him, but I don't think it affects him. I don't think it ever deters what he believes he can be or what he needs to do to reach what he wants to reach. And that's really impressive for somebody that has a lot. And a lot of it's good, but a lot of stuff going on around him.
Mitch, along those lines, like you coach players that want to be great. You've competed against players that want to be great. Like so few want to be maybe the greatest or have the ability to be the greatest in those ways. Where what's the gap in terms of like what makes that different for a guy like Victor, who, like you said, like is so driven to the things that he wants to accomplish?
That's a tough question that I don't know if I'm qualified to answer. I do think there's, you know, he has some God-given abilities and talent that put him in a pretty unique space. And if he continues to hone those and nurture those and develop those, you know, I don't think anybody feels comfortable putting a ceiling on him. And there's a few players that we come across or see, and circumstances happen. Things, you know, need a little luck, a little this and that. But he's one of those people that I don't think anybody would be comfortable trying to put a limitation or ceiling on.
Hey Mitch, what would you say Victor's biggest takeaway was from Pop, and is there a certain point of emphasis that you witnessed him trying to drive home to that you're still trying to work on with him?
Yeah. Pop's a wealth of wisdom, knowledge, experience. His special powers, understanding people, how to press buttons, how to motivate, how to put his arm around you while also having his foot up your you-know-what. I wouldn't dare to try to get into Victor's head and tell you what his biggest takeaway was from Pop, but I know there was a very strong, and is a very strong connection, and there were some conversations, I'm sure, that probably those two were appropriate to have that we probably don't deserve to be a part of in this room. So I think for myself, I just try to coach him hard because I know he wants to be coached hard. I know he wants to be held accountable, and I know he wants to be pushed to be, you know, the best version of himself. And that's my job to help him do that.
Hi, Coach. Talked to Nick Batum yesterday. He said that Spurs looked like OKC 3 years ago, according to him. What do you make of this comparison?
You know, obviously OKC is a program that a lot of people are looking at or towards in terms of the way that they've built themselves and the way that they operate and how consistent they are. So obviously, anytime someone compares you to something of that standard, that's something in very high regard. I think for us, we're pretty early in this journey, and we're just trying to continue to grow. And I think we've made steps from the last couple of years. We got a long way to go, and it's early in the season, and we got to make sure we continue to understand that and kind of just get lost in the process.
Sort of a weird question here, but with Vic being kind of all over the place over the summer, how did you guys kind of stay in touch with him and, you know, kind of keep him in the loop as far as the things you wanted, you know, to do, and, you know, some of the things with other teammates? Because I know him and Steph supposedly watched a lot of film together.
So I think part of it also is he probably was around more early in the offseason than normal because of his health situation and rehab and whatnot. So he spent a ton of time with us in the spring. And then obviously he had some of those escapades that are well documented around the world. but he came to Vegas during summer league, so we had quite a few hits throughout the season. He was just so busy that he was in a lot of places, but he was very, very intentional on being present. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was somewhere halfway across the world during the draft, and I believe he may have FaceTimed or called those guys at 4 a.m. wherever he was or whatever. And so I think, that example in itself tells you just his dedication and investment, how valuable he believes the relationships with his teammates and organization are.